What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I am back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning on the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is Joe. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is Hagrit. This is game number 6 of this best of 7 series for the semi-finals of the competitive mega random tournament. The winner of this series. In fact, if Joe wins this game, he goes on to the finals. If Hagrit wins this game and the next game, he goes to the finals. So that's how it goes in a single knockout tournament. So we'll see how it's all going to go. We've got a classic Odin versus Zeus matchup, a matchup of nerve and steel nerves. Yes, that is exactly what goes on here. I'm fairly certain this is one of the more tough matchups for Odin to face in the game. Odin obviously, like, Ra is one of them. Zeus is the other one. And Joe gets to fight that one off. I reckon that Hagrit was predicting to see another Uranus here. Joe's obviously shown that he wanted to play Uranus in the first game, got lost, got taken out there. Or was it Zeus? Got Uranus in the first game, lost to Hagrit's Zeus. And then in another game, we did see Joe picking Zeus. So Hagrit has seen that Uranus and Zeus are the gods that Joe wants to pick in this best of 7 series. So we'll see how it's going to go here. Now, let's take a quick look at the map and see if we can make any predictions. So we've got Forward Hunt. We've got the Auroch here as well. We do have a whole bunch of boar in the middle of the map. So a Athena rush here for Joe is going to be incredibly strong. It's only 2 Auroch starts, so it makes things just a little bit awkward for the early game. You can eat a goat, go just a couple of seconds later to the heroic age. Classical age. I do really value a fast 4-minute advance time against Odin here. I think that as Zeus mains play, they realize how much stronger advancing at 4 minutes is than advancing at 4 minutes 30 against Odin and Norse as well is. If you can manage to do it, you should do it. But the 430 is still very strong, and we might see Hoplite Toxote. We might see Hoplite Toxote. We might see Centaur Hoplite. Lots of different options here for Zeus, and Joe probably going to do one of them, I would assume. The question then comes down to, what should the Odin player do in response? We do have ourselves Harmony's Necklace here, extra 10% Villager Gold Gather rate. That might come into it, as well as the Boots who kick everything over here. And this one is going to be a big relic to help out here, because the real clutch strategies, which I believe that Odin can do, specifically Odin and Thor, maybe even Loki to some degree can do this as well, but it's best with Odin and Thor, is the Herser throwing axeman strategy. Because what this does is it means you don't even have to worry about what your opponent's doing. Every single strategy they do is going to be involving hoplites to some degree. So those throwing axemen are not bad. You make Herser at the start, and then you wait for what your opponent's going to pick to start making your throwing axemen. And we are in fact seeing Joe going through Athena here. We've got the Raven moving forward. Do we see any early hero out? No, we do not. Mining camp coming down. Looks to me like this is approximately a 4:30 advance time. So when you do go, there's nothing necessarily wrong with a 4:30 advance time. It's just that what happens with players is they forget that they've got an extra 30 seconds worth of gathering, which they otherwise would not have needed to have. So they've got basically 200 extra resources-ish in that extra 30 seconds. Based on how many villagers they have. So what you can do with those resources is you can either get yourself Olympic parentage to make your Jason and Odysseus stronger, or you can get a second Minotaur. And against Odin, I'm very for simply just getting a second Minotaur. So you just need to gather 1 extra favor. That's it. You're at 15 favors. So 2 favor for an Odysseus and 14 favor for your Minotaur. And then you're good to go. You drop your military academy, you drop your archery range. You can see how many resources right now Joe's got. He's starting his Jason, his Odysseus. How many resources are there? That's enough for a Minotaur. That's enough for a Hoplite. And that's enough for a Toxote. And you're good to go. See what I'm saying? There you go. Onwards and upwards. Now, Freya hitting for Hagrit, throwing down his longhouse over here. He's a little bit of villager forgetfulness here from Hagrid. Doesn't matter a whole lot because he's currently housed in the middle of the map right now on the board, trying to gather that as best as he can, getting himself early watchtowers here. He does have the Aurochs in his base that he can eat, but he is starting his dwarves. There's the longhouse coming up. He does have to be a little bit careful about his towers, because they're currently sitting there a little bit naked. But this is a beautiful map for Hagrid in a big way, because it's got a nice safe gold mine in the back with these beautiful walls set up and the towers here to defend this one. So we'll see how that's going to go. The unit's going to be pushing in. Hagrid's going to be retreating all the way back home. Hagrid not microing that Valkyrie. That's really bad. Normally, the Valkyrie gets bolted, but right now, Joe didn't have to bolt the Valkyrie, so he can actually bolt the free Frost Giant if Hagrid manages to get there in this game. Oh no, that's kind of disaster spot there. The Orc looked like it was going to die over here near the town center, but now the villages are incredibly open. One thing that Joe could do right now is just simply leave his Odysseus on this position and be completely fine. We're starting to see houses getting dropped over on this position to try and protect his towers. More Hersa coming out, seeing throwing axemen starting to get produced. Will Hagrid go for pure throwing axemen at this point? And Hersa, he does have himself boots of kick everything, so these Hersa move at 4.62 speed, which is very, very nice. Hagrid going to be retreating away. Definitely don't want to be losing any villages. Maybe just jumping onto the herdables is going to be completely fine here as well. As more throwing axemen coming out, not really producing the units very fast, though, as Joe's currently got a fairly big advantage. Going to be taking down that Auroch out in the open as well. Nice decision making there from Joe. Not going to allow Hagrid to have any access to those huntables here. There's another house coming down in the back here for Hagrid. There is a gap over here, but it's not that big of a deal. And now the question is for Joe, where to now? And you can still see, look at this 200 food that Joe's got. There's still about 200 food sitting there. What are you going to do with the 200 food? I don't know. This is always what happens. We see pickaxe coming through. As throwing axemen, raiding cavalry now starting up for Hagrid, as he might choose to go mass army here as the Athena units wandering in onto this position, going to be trying to take down this gate here as best as they can to push through onto this gold mine. And Hagrid does say, look, I see that you want me off this gold mine, and I'm just going to say I'm buying my time here. I've got a gold mine at the back here, and I'm going to run straight to it. But this is a little bit bad for Hagrid. Hagrid definitely wanted to mine more of this gold if he could, because now he's going to have to fight out in the open against Joe's restoration, and any sort of Apollo timing here for Joe is going to be absolutely brutal. And we do need to remember, one thing I've been saying is, and one thing that is very, very good, is just getting a cheeky Pegasus out. One cheeky Pegasus makes a world of difference for Zeus players and for Greek players alike. Even on non-competitive Mega Random maps, like having one Pegasus is like having Ravens, and Ravens are bloody overpowered. So spending 50 food on a Raven seems like a good idea. I think everyone would kind of do it. Yeah, it costs a little bit of population, but let's be real, you're going to be housed half the game anyways. So I'm just kidding. Come on, guys. Jokes. All right. Now Joe's going to be making his way down the bottom side of the map. There is no easy way to defend this gold mine beyond what's happened here. So the units can easily push through here. The question is, does Joe know about this gold mine? Answer, yes, he does. As the wall's going to be torn down. Medium infantry coming through for Joe. Are we seeing more units getting produced? Not really, as Joe's kind of stopping production. He might be looking to get to the next age. Do we see an armory? Yes, we do. The question is, what is he going to do in that next age with the armor? Is he going to go through Apollo or what? Obviously, Apollo can hit this gold mine, hit this gold mine at the same time, so that's not a bad idea. As we see the walls back up over here, as Hagrid's going to be moving back and forth here as well. Hagrid's now starting to get a fairly nice army over here. One thing I wouldn't mind seeing from Joe just a little bit is utilizing the Toxotes' range with the help of the Odysseus as well to try and snipe some units from afar. So you can move your Toxotes in, shoot at the throwing axeman, pull back, but I mean, Hagrit's controlling his army pretty good at this point, not getting out of position all too much as the villagers do finish up that Orc there, going to be moving back into their base. Nice usage of the distraction time there. Is Joe slowly but surely going to be making his way to the next age. Joe does have an alternative win condition, which is Apollo Hera going through the Underworld and Lightning Storm route to try and get the gold staff here. So you see the gate getting taken down. The village is going to attempt to finish up on this gold mine. They only really managed to mine 100 gold here, but with the throwing axeman out, Joe's kind of scared to push through this wall for the time being. We'll see if he's going to get some kills here or not. So you do see the Toxotes pulling through, gets one shot there, retreats back. Apollo now on the way. Do we see an armory down anywhere for Hagrit? Not really just yet. Resources slowly starting to come in. Hagrit getting himself husbandry right now to speed up those villagers from gathering on the herdables there. As the fish, the food over here just about to finish up. He can still come forward and steal some of Hagrit's food if he wants. As Hagrit's still playing very, very scared. Not really aware of the difference in population. Sometimes it looks like the Greek army is bigger than it is. But Hagrit definitely has the population advantage. We can see that, 104 to 91. So he would probably win this one, especially if he gets medium infantry as well to boot, or medium cavalry, considering how many raiding cavalry are here, or furthermore, if he actually decides to go on raid just a little bit. But again, that's something you can find out by having this Raven here. If we take a look at what Hagrit actually sees, he doesn't see a whole lot. He just sees one archery range, so he doesn't know if the units were cut or not. So you do have to kind of be fairly aware of that and whatnot. As we see the Underworld getting thrown down on this position, the Dwarves going to be pulling away. Joe attempting to cut the Dwarves' retreat path off, and now the Underworld is both on this gold mine and on this gold mine, which is effectively a complete gold starve here. As Hagrit's got 800 food, 342 gold. He does have a strong army, so he should be able to push back just a little bit here, but we do still have restoration, and that's a lot of villager kills here from Joe as he's going to be retreating back. He can just stay in this location with the Toxotes, retreat his hoplites back through the Underworld and be completely fine here. As we're starting to see some raids coming onto this position, as Hagrit needs to get counter raids in here nicely as the raiding cavalry are onto this position, getting a little bit of damage done. We see the units pushing in onto this position here as well, maybe looking to take the town center down. The Toxotes are here to help fight. The Manticore here as well, going to do a ton of damage. Look at that damage there. Splash damage onto the throwing axeman is absolutely gigantic here. As the villagers turning around and fighting, might be worth casting restoration on this, but more units coming over here to help. But the raiding cavalry getting the damage done. Villager differential is exactly the same as Joe has got his foot on the gas. He's not going to be letting up here. The villagers moving over onto this gold mine yet again. There is the Underworld over there as well. Does Joe see that one? Yes, he does. The line of sight on the Underworld is huge here. As now Joe's going to come through this Underworld, creep in here, pop through this location. We've got a couple of units over here, and that potential restoration could come down over here as well for Joe. The Manticore does pop in. Unfortunately, you do not get yourself any sort of bonus for your special ability for your Manticore when it pops through the Underworld passage, as the Forest Fire does get used on the Underworld. Will this take the Underworld passage down? It looks like the Underworld passage is going to go down here. As Hagrit probably could have cast that Forest Fire there ages ago and saved his villagers, but even more villagers getting taken down right now as Hagrit is awfully close to being able to click up. He's got enough gold right now to advance through to the heroic age. The question is, will he have the economy to continue? He's 3 villagers down. He's done a lot of damage over to Joe's economy. Joe's currently got no resources in the bank right now. As the Underworld gets taken down, the gold mine is open here, and Hagrit has got some life left in this game. He's onto this gold mine. He's got a temple down as well, but remember, we do still have that bolt available and restoration. So Joe still has a significant advantage where that's concerned. Going to be leaving his Toxotes on this gold mine to be keeping an eye on that one. as the villagers going to be mining down the rest of this gold. Only one ox cart remaining. I'm sure that's already queued up there for Hagrit when he hits the next age, as Hagrit's going to be patiently waiting. He will most likely have to cast Frost straight away, which is not 100% what you want to be doing, especially when your opponent's got Restoration, as they're going to be able to pop out of that and be fun. We see the special ability of the Manticore going after those units there, as now Hagrit's going to be making his way potentially over onto this back gold mine yet again here, as Joe's up to 105, 115 population. And we'll see how he's going to manage as this game's going to continue. Maybe pushing these villages off of this wood over onto the gold wouldn't be a bad idea. The free Frost Giant going to pop out here as the hoplites swinging through. Taking down the houses on this position is going to do a lot of damage to Hagrit's infrastructure here. He needs those houses to keep an army out. There's a couple of villagers coming over here. We do see a stray Toxote going to actually pick off a dwarf here for free, as Hagrit's not paying attention. We see the tower getting taken down. Medium cavalry coming through for Hagrit finally here as well. No real market to speak of, so no trade coming through. The farms are now up for Hagrit. He doesn't have plow. He doesn't have plow coming through. He could get himself winter harvest here, which would be a big upgrade as well. As we see the units moving over here for Hagrit. Surely you just cast Frost here. Yes, we do see Frost as the army going to come in for Hagrit to help take this down. Joe's got a lot of gold in the bank and a market up as well. A handful of villagers over here. We see a lot of villagers on the favor, actually. Is he going to be making mass Manticore? What's the idea where that's concerned? Is the units starting to push in over here for Joe, for Hagrit? 81 population, 112 though. I think that Joe's going to be more than happy to just hang out here and cast Restoration at the end of this Frost. He's going to be losing a handful of units during the Frost, but the rest of them are going to be able to fight it very, very nicely here, as the throwing axemen coming in to take out these the rest of these units here. We'll see how it's going to go if Joe can continue to fight. We just see these hoplites still taking out houses over here, as that's going to again really hurt Hagrit, as he's just, well, I mean, he's got decent stuff here. We do see the units fighting. Still no Restoration being used. His army absolutely wins this fight with the Restoration. He decides to turn around. The hoplites coming in here, going to be healing up his hoplites as well. Hagrit going to be retreating away. The villagers on this location here going to be very open to be losing their lives here, but more throwing axemen coming in onto the top of the map here. The raiding cavalry charging head first into the hoplites, as Joe is trying to make his army push through here as best as he can, but it looks like Hagrit manages to put a stop to this pressure that Joe is exerting here. We do see the market up for Hagrit as well, and now Joe retreating back, but Joe is able to advance to the Mythic Age through Hera. That's going to be a very difficult thing for Hagrit to overcome right now, as Hagrit is not close to the next stage. You've got a differential of about 9 villages. So Joe's got a slight advantage, well, not a slight, a decent advantage in terms of economy as well. As the walls come back over here, Hagrit pushing back in with his army, can go straight after those units as best as he can. Does hit one of those throwing axemen. The throwing axemen retreating away. The wall's going to get broken down. The raiding cavalry going to look for some raids. Definitely hitting these villages up here wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's take a quick look at what Hagrit can see. No idea that there's gold here. He doesn't have his Raven on any gold mine over here. Surely he must know that there's got to be a gold mine in the back somewhere, because he's got a back gold mine. That's generally how it works here. As we do see the wooden wall getting broken down 56% of the way through to the Mythic Age, as Joe is marching forward. Definitely doesn't want to fight here, but jockeying back and forth isn't a bad idea while he waits for the lightning storm. 70% of the way, that's another 20 seconds roughly he needs to wait here before clicking it, and all of these units are going to be finding themselves in a very difficult position. Here's the Manticore getting cut out just a little bit, and Hagrit getting baited out of his base very nicely here. Is one thing that Hagrit should be realizing is that there's no way that Joe is not going Mythic Age here. Still one town center. He hasn't lost that many units in this game. Hagrit here with some decent Frost Giants. There's the Lightning Storm getting dropped down onto this position, going to be taking down these units very, very quickly. The army getting split up just a little bit, but there is no real way to outrun Lightning Storm. All the units getting taken down. Hagrit dropping down to 78 population right now, as Joe's got 115 or 118 of 150 population with the free Medusa spawn, which is going to come in and take down those Frost Giants nice and easily. Heavy infantry coming through as well to boot, as this gold mine is the next target for Joe. Joe's got a handful of Toxotes, a handful of hoplites, 115 population. Does he have a Bellerophon coming through? Yes, he does. Those two Ravens just flying overhead, not going to be doing all too much. Rhyme going to be coming through right now for Hagrit, as well as he does manage to freeze one of those Minotaur. But these gold villagers over here are looking very, very naked, as they're going to be attempting to make a break for it. But the Toxotes are not going to be allowing that. The damage coming through, the Manticore helping out a ton. The villagers falling very, very fast. Archer Rage is some of the most devastating raids in the game, because the villagers retreat away and they just take DPS for the entire time that they are running, as now the villager differential is back to 11, as Joe has such a ridiculous advantage in this game. We're going to start seeing town centers getting dropped down for sure here and here in the near future for Joe, as his economy is going to be taking off as well. Hagrit kind of hard stuck in the heroic cage, trying to throw up a hill fort to try and make some Huskal here isn't a bad idea. The gold mine over here is still available, 300 gold remaining. Definitely want to be mining that out if you can. And now the wood line over here is the next target, as the villagers are going to get pulled off. This stray villager does get finished here, as the villagers making their way up to the top side of the map. Heavy archers on the way now for Joe, as well as his army is looking incredibly strong. The Medusa are going to be coming in here to take down one of those Frost Giants as well. As Hagrit now sees that, he's going to be very, very scared to get close to said Medusa here, as the hill fort just about up. Where can those Frost Giants go now and be useful is the big question. As the watchtower getting finished up here, the houses going down. Joe with a significant advantage. We see the raiding cavalry moving forward. The town center is on the way right now. Watchtowers coming through, plow coming through for Joe, and the second town center is up. Joe with such an advantage. The gold mine just about to be finished up. We might see this gold mine getting snuck over here or over here. Wouldn't be a bad idea for Hagrit to try and continue here, as more houses getting thrown up. Hagrit to make Jarls and Huskal, as the raiding cavalry are coming through onto this position. But Bellerophon is here, and Bellerophon most likely wins this fight, considering how strong he is at this point in the game. Not only that, he is a little bit, or he's as fast as those medium raiders, so chasing them around, not the worst idea in the world, because he's 4 pop and those raiders are 2 pop each. As the hill fort starting to get taken down, more houses getting thrown up for Hagrit, as he's trying to push out to take down these Minotaur as best as he can. But the Minotaur gets the special off, bashes the raiding cavalry away. The Medusa trying to get in. Will she be able to take down one of these Frost Giants? Yes, she does. 1 dead Frost Giant. That's a big win there for Joe, as the hill fort looks like it's going to be getting torn down, as Hagrit has to basically trade wood and food for gold at this point to continue. As we see the units pushing forward to take these down, the Medusa in the back needs to wait on that special ability. If we take a quick look at what Joe sees, his Medusa is a 20-second recharge time. And comes back up, manages to pick off another Frost Giant, and in that moment, Hagrit taps out. Joe wins in not necessarily a very close series here. Joe gets to the 4th win first here and wins this best of 7 series with his Zeus in game number 6. Takes the dub, going on to the finals to face the winner of the other semi-final. No spoilers. So if you guys want to see that, it's going to be out soon. TM. And a really, really good play, classic play here from Joe, taking advantage of his underworld tier nicely. I mean, a beautiful counter from Hagrid. If he cast the Forest Fire immediately on here and killed off that underworld, would have been absolutely mind-blowing counter, but a little bit too delayed on that one, and he does lose a lot more villages than he otherwise should have to the underworld. A nice try nonetheless, but just a little bit too slow to be able to get to the next portion in this game. And the classic kind of one town center Athena, semi-fast mythic as it is, so strong for Zeus, and Hagrid's just not able to cope with it, and ends up falling here. 4 wins to Joe, 2 wins to Hagrid. Really well played series. If you guys enjoyed this game, enjoys this series, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.